Hiya, Georgie.
That's Georgie. I'm Chris.
What a nice boat. Do you want it back?
What do you think? Why else would I be here down by the gutter?
Here. Take it.
Nah, you go ahead and keep it. I'm not trying to get took. Sorry, Georgie.
Shit.
Welcome back, everybody, to another My Honest Opinion, and happy Halloween. Today we're going to be talking about the first horror movie of the list. We're going to start off with a bang, It Chapter 1. Now, to get into the real stuff to talk about, let's go through the synopsis for those that haven't seen the movie, did see the movie, but want me to say the synopsis, or those that are just watching this video. What's going on? How you doing? 7 young outcasts in Derry, Maine are about to face their worst nightmare. An ancient shape-shifting evil that emerges from the sewer every 27 years to prey on the town's children. Banding together over the course of one horrifying summer, the friends must overcome their own personal fears to battle the murderous, bloodthirsty clown known as Pennywise. That's right. The Losers Club versus Pennywise the Dancing Clown. One thing that is definitely mentioned about this movie is obviously its 1990s counterpart. The safe for TV, still mess with my head version of it. And I have to say, that movie versus this movie, each holds something that makes each work. For example, the 90s version of it has its charm because you have Tom Curry, who does a fantastic job in almost everything he does, because nobody's perfect. He was the definitive like Pennywise dancing clown. Even when I saw pictures released of Bill Skarsgård as like Pennywise in the makeup, I was like, wow, he looks kind of stupid. This is about to be a terrible ass movie. Was I wrong? See, now the 90s version didn't have a lot of the carnage, and definitely had to skip over a lot of the risque things you can't really show on TV back then. Note here, I haven't seen that since I was a little kid, so I'm trying to remember as much as I can from memory and from what I've seen, like, video essays about it or stuff like that. So forgive me if I screw up a couple things. The TV special, the miniseries, was kind of corny in some parts. Some things were just like, thinking back to them now, well, how could I be scared by this, man? But I will, to this day, when Bev was in the bathroom and that bubble, I think it was a balloon or a bubble of blood came out and just exploded, that was like my worst fear. And also when Pennywise was he came in the shower, he opened up the freaking drain hole and he was just like, hey, how's it going? That also freaked me out because then I couldn't look at showers. Thanks, PC. That also shook me because I couldn't look at showers the same way. You know the whole thing where when you have to soap your head and you have to close your eyes because of it, and you get scared shitless because that's exactly when the devil, death, and Pennywise come out to just try to get you, and then you're just like, right? That was me. That was me as well. That's what I was afraid of. I was like, great, I'm gonna stand as far away as I can from the drain, do what I need to do, hop back in, and then look. Yo, growing up was weird. This new movie it has jokes. Not really. It's mostly Richie cracking jokes, but Pennywise, his charisma, gone. The horror, though, is raised, bro. But we'll get to what makes this Pennywise so damn special. But gotta say, though, as the original versus the remake, I'm gonna have to stand a little bit with the remake just because this has affected me a lot more than that has. But as always, with any story, you've got to have characters. And we're gonna start off with I don't know if he's officially the leader of the Losers Club, but we're first introduced to Bill. So let's talk about Billy Boy.
Georgie's not dead.
So, stuttering aside, Bill is our main protagonist. We meet him first. It's his brother that gets taken first, and it's him that gets overwhelmed with the guilt of faking his sickness. Spoiler alert. He didn't want to go outside to play with Georgie. He just kind of punked him. It was just like, nah, bro. Why don't you go by yourself? And because of that, his brother's dead. And now he carries that guilt, and he's like, no, Georgie's alive. I fucking know it. I fucking know he's alive, even though it's been like 6 months, bro. If Georgie was still alive after 6 months, honestly, he's a better Bear Grylls than Bear Grylls. Bro, an 8-year-old does a better job than you. But then again, you know, Bear Grylls would probably be like, 6 months, I could do that, no problem. It's a shitty Bear Grylls impression. But Billy Boy, he carries that guilt of he let Georgie down, and he's the reason why he's dead. He carries that to the whole movie, and until it honestly breaks him to where it's kind of like Cap when he hears the word Bucky. You say Georgie, he's just Georgie, shut up. He starts the movie afraid and constantly looking and constantly denying Georgie's death, but by the end of it, obviously he overcomes that guilt. He overcomes that by putting one right between Pennywise's eyes. He accepts it, like, Georgie's gone. I can't do anything about that. It fucking sucks, but I can't let this keep eating me out. Not eating me out, sorry. I can't keep letting this eat me up inside.
More like, who'd she do? From what I hear, the list is longer than my wang.
That's not saying much.
So Richie Boy he got the short stick for being Mr. Comedy, and it's not much of a short stick, really. I mean, Richie helps keep the tone light in certain instances. He is the one character we don't really know too much about because he's either there cracking jokes, occasionally, like, you know, comment here and there, but he's mostly there for the jokes. Because when everybody's trying to, like, when we're going through the list of the Losers Club, figuring out what each of them are afraid of, there's some backstory to most of their reasons of their fear. But for Richie, it was kind of just like, I was curious watching it. It was like, first time around, I was like, what's Richie's, what is he afraid of? Convenient that he was just like, I'm afraid of clowns, bro. I can't stand it. Oh, look at that. It's the freaking clown is the enemy. Awesome. He doesn't have too much of a development here. It's just an establishment of this character. You know, he's friends with the guys, cracks jokes at anybody's expense. He has a fight with Bill. They have a disagreement, but at the end of it, they, you know, homies come through. You know, homies come through when they need it.
You know what these are? They're gazebos! They're bullshit!
So we gotta talk about my main fast-talking ass Eddie. I can relate with Eddie because I'm low-key a germaphobe, so anything kind of gross or disgusting, I'm just like, no. But Eddie actually does have something that goes on with him in this movie because he has that all too terrible symptom of having a very controlling parent. He is fed bullshit by his mom to just for her to keep a kind of like a leash on him. She feeds him bullshit to the point where he's finally like, these are just sugar pills, bro. You've been saying all these things for me to be careful because you're fearful of what I can get into, thus sheltering me in a certain way. You're lucky Eddie has these friends, because he has a diverse set of friends where he can, like, grow up normally. Otherwise, he'd be a sheltered, clueless idiot, and that's not cool. But Eddie does, you know, he challenges his mom's opinions, he goes against her, and he's just like, no, bro. He's still a germaphobe, but he's not as fearful of all of it as he was in the very beginning. Zayuden, Stanley. Stanley is pretty much the chicken shit of the group. He's kind of like Eddie, but he's a lot more like Eddie. Still has kind of like a stance when it comes to something. Stanley's more afraid than anything. He's the most scared of the group. When I really think about it, what does Stanley's character provide? There isn't a lot besides just kind of hard to explain Eddie or Stanley. I'm sorry. Stanley, I'm sorry, but I'm just gonna have to give you a chicken shit for right now. Maybe it might be just my shitty memory that I can't remember too much with you in it, but I'm sorry. I mean, you do get your face sucked in by that freaking flute lady, which, give him credit, that shit is terrifying. And then he freaks out because he's like,
My friends, you left me.
Beverly, hey, Beverly, hey. What do I gotta say about Bev? Bev has that all too heard of issue of probably doing like one thing and having so many rumors spread about you about being such a hoe and this and that you have to, like, you get put in this bubble and you can't do anything besides be put in this bubble. Beg's kind of cool though, yo. She fights back. She says, fuck your rules, bro. I'm gonna smoke a cig in the bathroom. Fuck you, daddy. I'm gonna be hanging out with these guys because we have something in common. A deadly clown that's trying to kill me. I mean, really, Beverly's big thing is just overcoming Eddie, overcoming the grip of an overbearing parent. But not only that, but also the obvious sexual harassment and molestation that's coming from that. And like she's fighting her fear of like what could happen. Like he could snap at any moment and try to like fuck me. Like, no, this is scary. Like I have to just kind of tiptoe around this guy. She's growing up, she's, you know, going through womanhood, and she's trying to deal with that shit. Like, really, her whole section of what things have to deal with her have to deal with her becoming a woman. So there's a lot of big, scary fucking steps, and I cannot comment because I am not a woman. I am sorry. So we're gonna talk about Ben. Ben's the lover boy, Ben. Hey. Ben is the brains of the group, I have to feel like, because he's the only one that really put the time in to kind of learn the history about Derry. He's the one that comes up with the information that lets everybody know, okay, so there's been some fucked up shit happening here. Adults somehow don't care. People die 4 times the national average. Like, this shit is happening. Nobody gives a fuck. Why? So, Michael, if his name is Michael, otherwise it's just Mike. But Mike.
What day is it, Mike?
As far as I know for Michael, though, there's really not too much besides him struggling with the death of most likely his parents and other people, his family, in a house fire. He's the outsider. He's got his own issues that get abused by Pennywise, and like honestly, like a lot of these characters are there's only establishments. You know, there's not too much of development. You know, like Mike does, like, you know, end up getting over his, like, for some reason, I guess, hesitation for killing a sheep. Like, that remorse is gone.
Mike, where's he?
So Henry is I wouldn't say an arm of Pennywise, more like a finger, because he's there to help terrorize them when Pennywise can't. You know, he's there to keep them on their toes when Pennywise can't. This guy, there's a short list, maybe like 20 people, I don't know. There's a short list of people who I would instinctively on sight deck, and Henry is one of them. This guy's fucking murderous. He almost bashes Mike's head in with a rock. For what? Because he's an outsider? Because he's black, bro. Make up your fucking mind. He cuts up Ben just because he's fat and a new kid. Like, I wouldn't say, yeah, he sexually harasses Ben because, you know, word around town, plus he's just like, pussy. My nigga, she's like 13. No, what the, ew, bro, what, ew. He's just an all-around douchebag and a terrible human being. But at the same time, but, I have to try and be understanding here, his dad did probably fuck up his life because his dad looks like the abusive type. So, in a way, I feel bad for you, but it doesn't mean you have to take the shit out so extremely. But hey, you made your decision. We all gotta live by them. You fucked up. You suck. Deuces.
This isn't real enough for you, Billy. It wasn't real enough for Georgie.
Now, of course, we cannot talk about it without talking about it. Pennywise the dancing clown. This motherfucker, yo. I never thought that such a thing could freak me out as much as Pennywise did, and not initially. Like, I'll be honest, one of the things that made this movie stand out for sure was how they started the movie off. For one, like, for real, the beginning of this movie fucked with me because I have never seen a child be hurt in this degree, you know? If it's always something with a kid, it's either done off screen or it turns out they're not really a kid. Freaking 7-year-old, 8-year-old, he's a young little kid, gets his arm bit off in the fucking rain, tries to crawl away, bleeding out, screaming for help, and then Pennywise fucking kills and probably eats the kid. That is how you start your movie, Andy? My fucking God. Props to you, bro. That's a fucking way to start the movie. That's a good way to be like, bro, this is not the 90s miniseries. We are not holding back. Pennywise is honestly a really good allegory for growing up, though, because here's the things that really fucked with you as a kid, and you need to face them. Pennywise makes these kids face the things they fear. With Bill, it's the death of his brother. With Ben, it's a mummy, apparently. Mummies. Eddie has to get over his fear of everything toxic that his mother fed him, everything that's disgusting, gross, He has to get over that. Stanley has to kind of get over, clearly his issue is trying to live up to his dad's expectations. Stanley has to, like, be like, nah, nigga, I'm me. Doses. Beverly has to face the sexual harassment, most likely from her dad. Michael has to deal with that traumatic ass past of seeing a shit ton of people burned alive in his face as he was a kid. It's kind of hard because I want to mention It Chapter 2, but I'd rather save most, like, the big chunk of how this influences them when they grow up. I want to save it for the sequel. Quick side note, Pennywise fucked with me for so long, at least because of watching the second movie, that, like, I had a dream about the guy. It. I was in the shoes of every single male character in this movie. At one point, I was in a classroom, I was playing as Richie, and the clown, like, I felt him rise behind me, and then I just got, like, I just stood up. They didn't face me, I just stood up and said, "You fucking piece of shit clown, get the fuck away from me," right? And then I turned around and I see him shrinking, and I'm just like, you're a fucking loser, you're a piece of shit clown, okay? Fuck you. I just kept yelling at the guy, just throwing my hate at him. I basically bullied him. It's crazy. Until I woke up and I was just like, alright, I don't know if I can sleep anymore. But it affected me that much. It does a good job at scaring me because, for me, I can understand that tension with a payoff scares me. There needs to be tension, and there's tension. Oh boy, there's tension. It's hard for me to watch the beginning opening scene of It because I know what's gonna happen, but I still, like, the tension still keeps getting. So we get to the part where we gotta give this movie a rating, and I have to be honest here and give my rating of a 7 out of 10. Thank you all for watching. Okay, I hope you liked this video, you share with some friends, and have a happy Halloween. But please leave a like, comment, subscribe, share this with your friends, come back for the next one. Peace out.
チゲだファンキーだみんな黙って俺についてこいイエチゲだファンキーだみんな必死で俺についてこいカモンチゲだファンキーだ